This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Yes, Flash Dance. Welcome to DBL. It is Friday, January 15th. I'm Tori here with Al and Lindsay in studio. It is
Hey.
lovely to see you.
I came back to Christmas gifts and I'm like, where have I been?
I know.
It's like Valentine's Day.
But Al, you heard her come back from the back of the studio and all you hear is a giggle and you're like, yes.
Yes, Lindsay's here.
She's here. We're glad to have you. Well, big news, as I'm sure you all know, in just 5 days, President-elect Joe Biden will be sworn in. And at the White House yesterday, as the Trumps prepare to move out of the famous home, staff packed up boxes of documents and loaded them into moving vans. They were also seen taking this sculpture of Abraham Lincoln. It's the Abraham Lincoln bust, famously from the White House. Also, someone else packed up this stuffed bird So in less than a week, President Trump will be out of office, and no matter which side of the aisle you're on, we're talking to you both, chances are we're not going to be seeing all of the colorful headlines that came with the Trump presidency. So the question we have for you today, is the country ready for a more typical politician? And how do you think life will change? For me, less anxiety medication. I'm being super honest. What do you think, Linz?
I mean, politics and leaders of our country are not meant to be entertainers. They're not meant to be, the host of Celebrity Apprentice. So we actually are going to just see some normal, hopefully, decision making and responsibility. And I'm looking forward to just not waking up every day wondering what tweet is going to go out and offend a group of people. So I'm really excited about more calm, even if it is considered quote unquote boring. I'm actually excited for boring.
You're excited for boring. What about you?
I can't even believe we have to talk about this. It's so interesting that I think because so few Americans, and I consider myself definitely in this group as a former comedian, current, former, whatever.
You're current.
I didn't know much about politics, so I think when you don't know much about something, you just want to be entertained by it because you don't really know that much. That's why on football shows, they kind of try and make you, they don't get into the X's and O's of everything. But I think we all see now how serious it is and how you need somebody that knows what they're doing. And being a career politician isn't a bad thing. I don't want somebody trying something out for the first time with somebody's health care, So I'm fine with whatever we're calling boring. I'm cool with that.
I also don't want to just say that we're going to go into Joe Biden presidency and have this beautiful road that's well paved and nothing goes wrong, because there are already a lot of people and groups that want to hold him accountable for different things that he may be promised or hasn't promised yet on the campaign trail. And so I think there's going to be a lot of work to be done, and it won't be as calm as we all think.
You're absolutely right. It won't be as calm. But I will say this, for me at least, I think what we now it's called a doom scroll or doom scrolling. And really it's for both parties.
What that is.
It's when you scroll through Twitter or any kind of thing, and it's just you never stop, and you're just always looking at what the next big moment was. It used to be the news would come on in an hour, and then you'd miss it, or you'd get back to it tomorrow. And now it's every second there's a new scandal. So for me, I know that's not great for me. This is on both sides. This is not a Republican-Democratic issue. The height of the anger and divisiveness really got to me, and I think my doom scrolling, my finger would scroll until it hurt. So I'm excited for that, but something that really is good that I think the Trump administration brought is what you guys all said is we're all a little bit smarter, I think, about the political process.
Oh, definitely.
And I think we're all a little more interested. We saw a voter surge. So although the curtain was sort of pulled back, I kind of got my nerd excitement going because everyone was talking, Jeff was talking about Pelosi and Schumer and the Tea Party. And I was like, whoa, I never thought we would see that. So in that point, I guess it's good we're involved, but I'm glad we're kind of stepping back a little.
Yeah, same.
Okay, good. Let us know, please, what you feel. A lot of people saying...
And Tori, can you give our viewers a second to mourn your finger? I mean, there's people going through real tough times, but I feel I'm glad that you held that back until today and not burden our viewer with your index finger. And it's time that you just let the people know what you go through as well.
It was a hard strain, just a sprain.
Now, is it the tip or the base?
It was just both the joint, really, right here.
Going too far.
All right. Well, let's move on to this. I don't know if y'all have seen this. I'm so mad at Al right now because I meant it as a metaphor. An Olympic gold medalist is in some really hot water. Speaking of water, he's a swimmer. Good one, Tor. Cleat Keller, who you can see photographs here. He is from the Capitol riots last week. He's even wearing his Team USA jacket. Wow. Well, he turned himself in to federal authorities yesterday and was charged with 3 crimes related to his involvement. Now, Keller's the 3-time Olympic swimmer. There he is. He earned 5 medals over his career, including a couple of gold medals for our team, Team USA. Now, some are saying if he's convicted, he should lose those Olympic medals. And DBL Nation, we want to know what you think. Is this fair? Go to dblvote.com. Tell us what you think. We've seen Marion Jones lose medals. We've seen Lance Armstrong lose Tour de France, 18,000 of them because he won them all. What do you think, Al, about this? And do you think that Cleat should keep medals even if he goes to jail?
I don't. That's not. Those medals should be gone. But that should be the least. I think we have a bigger concern here. And I think as I look at somebody like that, I looked at him. I was like, you definitely don't listen to hip hop. And here's what I mean about that. If you look at rappers, a lot of guys that do street stuff, They have nicknames: Little Smoke, Big This, Mr. Get That Money. And the reason they have that is not for branding. It's so if their friends get asked, hey, have you seen this person? You're like, I don't know who Lindsay is. I know who this is. Do you have nicknames because you don't want to get caught?
Plausible deniability.
So you don't wear your Team USA jacket or FaceTime while you're doing crimes. If you listen to more hip hop, which would be more inclusive, which we would all win, you would also know not to alert the country to your first, middle, and last name.
To be honest with you, someone wrote a meme that I saw that said, it's funny that they didn't even wear masks because they were protesting, but it would have covered them as they committed these crimes. Like, even that they didn't do. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought of something that I saw online. I'm not going to repeat. Give people anxiety. But I just, like, you went and won all these medals on behalf of the USA and were this patriotic, or did this patriotic thing that we consider the Olympics widely everywhere for every country when they participate. And then you go to the Capitol and do one of the most unpatriotic things that we've seen in modern history. And so I think he should lose them before he even gets convicted. Like, why were you there? That your activity was illegal. If you were in the building, that's also illegal and trespassing. So you're breaking the laws and putting people that are leading our country in danger.
So should, like, Harvey Weinstein lose all his Oscars?
I don't think, I don't think it matters.
Like, do we go that way to everything?
Unless we're going to not air his movies, and I think a lot of people would have problems with that. You know, we would lose Pulp Fiction and things like that. Not Kill Bill, I think he did.
Yeah,
I mean,
Good
he did
Will
everything.
Hunting, all of those. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a thing that we'd have to discuss. But the example of the Olympics and the example of this young man, Lindsay, for what you're talking about, this is a person that thinks he's patriotic for his America. And this is what we're constantly seeing, is that the things that the people that they consider America don't look like everybody. They look like the people in that Capitol, and everybody else is other, and they're trying to expel them.
And that's why he wore the USA, you're saying, because he felt what he was doing, which we at the show highly condone. We don't see it that way. But to him, he was doing something patriotic, is what you're saying.
But when you look at the result and see that someone died and that people got COVID and that people got hurt, somebody killed themselves, like, you have to understand that.
People killed themselves.
Right, you have to understand that what you're saying does not make any sense.
I know.
People that are actually American citizens were killed, and so how is that patriotic?
Well, Jeff disagrees with us, McGraphica. He says it's an achievement that he won. They're not taking my high school art ribbons away if I got caught jaywalking. I don't think that's comparable. I don't think any of those two things.
Yeah, jaywalking generally doesn't leave anybody getting killed unless the person that gets hit by a car. So.
Interesting. Well, let's take a look at our votes here. Wow. Okay. So pretty even, almost split. 56% of you say yes. That's not a huge majority. That's like margin of error right there. All right. Well, I'm going to work on my finger. Coming up on DBL, Tiger Woods' other woman, Rachel Yucatel. She's breaking her silence for the first time in 10 years and tells Erica all about it. And we've all been there, forgetting our password to an online account. It is so frustrating. But imagine if you had millions of dollars at stake. Yeah, it's a real life nightmare for this guy, and we'll tell you all about it coming up next. Welcome back to DBL. All right, well, here's something we can all relate to. Have you ever forgotten your password?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a moment. It happens to a lot of us. It really frustrates me, but it's turned out to be a very expensive problem for one man. Stefan Thomas says he has around $260 million worth of Bitcoin. The digital currency is stashed on a small hard drive. Here's the thing, though. He forgot the password to the device, and he only has 2 more tries to get it right before he loses access forever. It also means all that cryptocurrency would be whipped out. Here's what he told NBC all about it.
Just like lay in bed and come up with a new way to recover it, and then wouldn't work, and then I would try another way and it wouldn't work either. It's not like I barely don't remember it. It's there's no chance of remembering something that complicated from 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's, first of all, reactions, Lindsay, to that?
Is there not a person, a company to call and get to the bottom of this? That just seems a little bit crazy. Even when,
Like, just call the company.
Lindsay is such a black mom. Call the company.
call them.
You're sending a handwritten letter to Bitcoin. I am very disappointed.
Dear Mr. Bitcoin.
Okay, I gotta say, I just had a similar experience when I was home for the holidays. So basically, I've been asking my mom for her HBO password for about a year. Because like you and I, Tori, we're cheapskates, and we find ways to cut corners. And so one way is using my mom's HBO.
Of course.
How embarrassing.
I'm embarrassed. I'm a grown woman.
Everyone
using my mom's
uses their
HBO.
parents'
No,
HBO.
they don't.
Yeah, they do. Go ahead.
Either way, she would not find out the password. And so all this time, I've been not having HBO, and finally, this is why I didn't watch Game of Thrones, by the way. And finally, she went, and when I was home, I made her call HBO or call Cablevision, whatever provider she had, and we got to the bottom of what is the owner password on the entire account. And finally, I can watch HBO.
So,
Why
like, there
don't you
has to be an
change
answer.
password?
What's that?
Why don't you just change the
My
password?
mom doesn't like use the computer to change passwords. She like my dad calls American
Apparently neither
Airlines.
do you, because you're typing like this. So I
never took the proper typing
apple
classes
doesn't fall
either, so I
far.
type with two
Does
fingers.
this hurt your fingers when you do this?
Basically,
Can
yeah.
I just say, I don't think, first of all, 2 words to this guy, hypnotherapy. I think he should go deep under, like get the world's best hypnotherapist and get him to go deep into
I don't
a weird
disagree with
place
this.
and let
It's
that go.
8390.
Something, yeah, just like, but somebody that's like legit, not like a.
Or he can ask our mentalist that always
Wayne
comes on.
Hoffman, if
Yeah.
you're listening, this guy needs some help. Also, yeah, you'd think there's a master like password to get into the hard drive.
Also, I think this dude has got money. Otherwise, he would have been sobbing during that.
Yeah,
segment.
he's too calm.
He's got on a
He was
$1,000
okay?
suit. Yeah, he's fine.
Well, we did want to let you guys know about Bitcoin. It's a digital currency type of thing, and it is so popular and hot right now. I don't 100% get it, like the cloud. You know what I mean? How no one gets the cloud.
You described it as a digital currency type thing. So that kind of let our viewers know that that's about where your knowledge ended.
Don't
just
like
saying.
worry about purchasing Bitcoin.
kind of situation if you want to get into it.
The stock today, one stock is $35,000 today. That's crazy.
You know, I listened to Kevin O'Leary and I asked him, does he invest in Bitcoin? He said, absolutely not.
Yep. Oh, no.
A lot of people do not take risk on these newer things. Even Warren Buffett says the same thing. These are like very trendy.
But they're kind of old school.
Right,
They're
and they stay
generational.
towards- exactly.
Right. Wow. Well, we'll get back to that money kind of thing. Coming up on DBL, from tabloid fodder to redemption, Erica's chatting with Rachel Yucatel about her infamous affair with Tiger Woods, why she's clearing the air now. Coming up
Electric coins.
Ladies.
Welcome back to DBL. 10 years ago, Rachel Yucatel was a household name thanks to her affair with Tiger Woods. Now she's telling her side of the story in a two-part HBO documentary that I'm watching called Tiger. Erica talked with her earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
I was unfaithful. I had affairs. I cheated.
Rachel Yucatel, girl. Your name has appeared in the tabloids probably more times over the decades than you would like, but you're here to tell your side of the story and to set the record straight. I mean, it's really hard to believe that it's been 10 years since news broke of your affair with Tiger Woods. What has happened in the past 10 years? Like, how did it all go down for you 10 years ago?
My life was somewhat private, and then, you know, to see yourself all over every tabloid, all the way to Australia to India, really, and everything from, you know, people gossiping about the way you look to who you're dating. You know, it becomes a very different life. And then not only was it for public fodder 10 years ago, but all the way until today, you know, so it's really changed my life.
So what has the backlash been like? Because I think there was a misconception by a lot of people that you were enjoying this, quote, 15 minutes, but this has been 10 years. So there had to have been a lot of backlash on your end.
Well, there's nothing enjoyable about it. I think that people think it's enjoyable to be in the spotlight, but not when people are talking about you in such a negative way. To not be able to get credible jobs, to not be able to sustain relationships that are credible because you have such a stigma about you. I think people should really try that before they like to comment. For 10 years, I've gotten the anger of everybody that's ever been cheated on, you know, every woman scorned, man scorned. And at some point you say, okay, enough. I deserve to have a voice.
Here he was in my bed, and he was my Tiger.
What is your biggest intention, or what are you hoping to achieve by speaking out this one time?
In the absence of truth, people create an idea of who I am and what happened. And I think that's been really unfair to me and really unfair to the situation. And there shouldn't be any judgment after, you know, they see the documentary. Hopefully, I can get out of this cloud of being so threatening to everybody. That was really, you know, all there was to it.
But you weren't the only woman that Tiger Woods was involved with in an extramarital affair before ending his marriage. Why do you think that people focus so much on you?
So I think the focus remained on me was because I was the only one that didn't speak. I think everyone else, there was more facts to, right? You know, so there was the waitress and there was the porn star, and then there was me, who there was all these different things about me that other people had written about, and I had never really come out and said my own story.
So in the 10-year saga, do you have any regrets?
Everything I've ever been through makes me who I am, and I am a really, really, really strong person, and I know some major lessons because of who I am. And, you know, I don't want to live as a discount version of myself anymore, and I refuse to do so. So I am not going to live in the first act of my life anymore, and I'm going to choose to go into the second act of my life. And I would like my own comeback story. And I think that other people have gotten theirs, and I'd like to have my own.
Well, Rachel Yucatel, I really appreciate you spending time with us on DBL. I appreciate your transparency, and you know, you're not going to please everybody, and everybody's always going to have something to say. But the fact that you are taking ownership over your story, especially on your way to your comeback, is something I can appreciate, and anyone who's had a major setback in their life might be able to find some appreciation and grace in that too. So thank you, Rachel. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Don't miss the rest of Rachel's emotional story in part 2 of Tiger, airing this Sunday on HBO. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. More people are considering traveling this year after the pandemic put plans on hold last year. So we're sharing, the top search destinations on today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. So one of the most searched destinations is Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't know, Alaska. Okay. Known for its outdoor activities and national parks, another top spot, I've looked at this, Key West, Florida, making it clear they want to be in the sun and on the beach. The #1 spot searched is the Virgin Islands.
Been there before.
Yeah, me too. I love it. Another sign people are looking to unwind.
And also, you don't need a passport to go there, to the U.S. side.
Whoa.
Yes, there's a U.S. Virgin Islands and a British Virgin
That's right.
Islands.
I've only been to the I don't know which one. When it comes to traveling for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. Okay, I have to read you guys. This is so funny. A lot of you wrote in about Bitcoin, and it's more like digital gold, if that makes sense. There's like a finite amount of Bitcoin. Okay, that's as much as I'm getting. Yeah, isn't that right, Michael Dean? Yeah. So get this. Raised Vibe, who I love, says, if I had a Bitcoin, for every time someone tried to explain Bitcoins to me, I'd have a lot of Bitcoins and no idea what to do with them.
I love Raised Vibe. He's always got something funny to say.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
you.